everyone ready.
This meeting is being conducted in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice this meeting has been provided by advertisement in the Cape May Star and Wave on the Township website and has been posted on the bulletin boards of Township Hall.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Conrad?
Here.
Councilmember Perry?
Here.
Councilmember Simonson?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Clark is absent. Mayor Beck?
Here. Okay, we move down to the consent agenda. Does anybody on council have any questions or comments regarding the consent agenda? We open it up for public comment on the consent agenda only. Okay, close the public portion.
Approval of minutes, November 7th, 2016. Resolutions number 2016-317 through 2016-322.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Perry?
Yes.
Councilmember Simonson?
Yes.
Mayor Beck?
Yes. We move down to administrative reports. Is there any council questions or comments on those? Move down to council comments. Tom?
Well, start off, wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving this week. I went to the league meeting last week. Learned a few good things, had some good classes, picked up some things. Mainly the legislature seems to like to not have themselves liable to the same laws that the rest of governments have to, but it's one of those things we have to live with. I put out in front of town hall by the reception desk, 2 different plans from the state. One is for if you are having a problem with foreclosure and you meet certain circumstances, the state has a program possibly to save you from the same people that currently are giving us the water loans for like 1% for 10 years. They have a program to help people keep their homes. The other one is the AHA, Affordable Housing Alliance. If you have problems paying your fuel bills, your energy bills, they have a plan that possibly will help you. This is some of the little stuff we pick up at the meetings. I want to give a big shout out to the Public Works. I checked out the beach access points in the villas yesterday when the wind was just blowing a little bit and no sand was coming up on the streets in those spots. They are still working great. It was a beautiful job. Head of Public Works here. Good job, Gary. Some beautiful work. Please go check them out. We're still plugging them out. And other than that, have a good night.
Just to follow up what Councilman Conrad had stated, Public Works is doing an excellent job of doing the beach access along the bayfront, and keep up the good work. Public Works, Gary Douglas there in the audience. The guys are to be commended for the job that they're doing, saving the taxpayers a lot of money in the process. And last but not least, again, happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
And also ditto for me. I ride the bayfront so many times a week, and it's definitely a major upgrade for the whole town. And definitely when the warm weather finally comes back around, it will be a safer way to and from the beach. With that, also, I had a chance to perform for our Law Enforcement United, which is a group that does a charity ride from, leaves from New Jersey and goes down to the Capitol. All the money that they raise goes, all of the money, all the proceeds go towards families of fallen officers. And it's a great benefit that I've been doing for a couple of years, and we do have several officers from Lower Township participating, so if anyone's interested in donating, I can get you hooked up with them, or you could call Chief Mastriano or call the police station. But it's definitely a worthwhile investment. Like I said, all the money from this particular ride goes directly to the families of fallen officers, and we do have several from Lower Township, so I encourage people to donate to that as well. And other than that, have a happy Thanksgiving and stay safe.
Okay, here's the must-reads. The announcements. The tree lighting ceremony, Tuesday, November 29th, 7 p.m. at the Rec Center. You guys got that? The 29th, 7 p.m. at the Rec Center. Refreshments will be served after the ceremony in the Rec Center in the meeting room. Does that include prime rib this year? No? All right. Chamber of Commerce Day of Hospitality, December 2nd, 4 to 7 p.m. There will be lots of prizes and special treats throughout our community. This year, prize drawings will be conducted by individual business locations rather than culminating at the end of the evening at the Rec Center. You can start your tour of the participating businesses at the Township Rec Center, where you can pick up a map as well as finding many business representatives all in one place. The first 200 adults will receive a complimentary tote bag to fill with goodies and useful information. The Rotary Christmas Parade is Saturday, December 10th, Bay Shore Road. It starts at Breakwater and continues to Rose Hill. That's Saturday the 10th. The new start time is 6 o'clock. What was it before? 7? Okay, that's cool. The Ferry Merry Christmas is Sunday, December 18th, 12 to 3 p.m. at the ferry terminal. That's Sunday, December 18th, 12 to 3 p.m. at the ferry terminal. The Lower Township Chamber of Commerce has also designated January as Police Appreciation Month. Kicking it off will be a Police Appreciation Breakfast along with special deals for our officers offered by our business community during that month. Police support signs are available throughout the Lower Township Chamber of Commerce. Thanks to the generosity of Signama and Signama? Looks like Signama. And Cape May Courthouse, they are only $20 each. All the proceeds will be donated to the Lower Township Police Department. They can be purchased at these locations: Anco Ace Hardware, Geis's Market, Rob Gleason, State Farm Insurance Company, and the Lower Township Chamber of Commerce. So, with that being said, I join my colleagues in wishing everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I also want to thank Public Works, but I also want to take an opportunity at this time of the year to thank all of our employees. They keep the trains running. They do all the things. They keep us safe. The fire companies, the rescue squad, all those people who help to take care of us. Without them, of course, it would be a difficult life indeed. I also want to take just a brief moment to talk about a letter I got from France. It came from a town in France called Pontivy, or Pontivy, depending how you pronounce it. I have it sitting here, and it was addressed to Mr. the Mayor. And at first, you think to yourself, well, maybe, this is, I don't know what this is. Sometimes I get a lot of letters, people asking for pins, things like that. But I started to read this, and it concerns a soldier from World War II, from 1944, who was killed in this town in France. And they know just a little bit of information about him, but they said to me they think he comes from our town. And they gave me a name of Edward N. Hunter, Hunter, who was killed in August 1944 with the 6th Mechanized Division crossing France. And it must have been a pretty horrible death. His dog tags were off of him a little bit, and they buried him in a cemetery in France. And 4 years later, his wife had him brought back here and buried. And we did a little bit of research, and Eileen and I went over, and we found his name on the stone in front of the Sandman School, or the Consolidated School there. And we went over to the Cold Spring Cemetery, and lo and behold, he's buried there. Now, the papers are probably going to write about this coming week because they've been researching it as well as I have. And the people in this town want to do something special for this soldier. They have not forgotten him after all these years. And they feel that it's only just that they erect some kind of a memorial to this guy. And they're looking for something to do with his life. They'd like to know what kind of a person he was. They'd like to know what, they can't even get a photo. Apparently, in researching this, those of us who are veterans are aware that there was a fire in 1973 and a lot of veterans' records were destroyed. And they just can't seem to come up with something with him. And it's a journey of 1,000 miles, and we've just begun with this. You know, it's befitting that he is probably about 75 feet from this Eagle Scout project that was just built over at Cold Springs Cemetery. And the reason that I'm talking about this is, again, for Thanksgiving. And we, as politicians, have a tendency sometimes to get up like at Veterans Day and to talk about sacrifice and to talk about a lot of different things that have to do and say thank you to veterans. But this one kind of, like the rubber hit the road a little bit. And it brings you back to a time in the 1940 census. I went back and I was researching, just curious, and there was 1,600 people in Lower Township. There were only 28,000 in the entire county. And now, I don't know where these other 11 came from, but we tracked this individual down to the census, and apparently he did live in Lower Township. He had no children, it's obvious, but he was not a youngster. He was 38. And that's pretty old for a soldier in any war. Those of us that were overseas, I was 19. And I can't imagine being 38 and going across Europe in a tank or whatever. But we're working on this, and we're trying to sit back and give this guy, I mean, I can't imagine the horror that must have been going through this county and through this town at that point in time to lose that many kids. 12 kids were on that stone. And I mean, I just find it almost impossible to believe that they're all from Lower Township. I mean, someday as part of a project, maybe I'll go over there and try and track them all down. And we have a tendency, you know, to forget not only the sacrifices, but our own heritage. As I was saying before, this Eagle Scout project, if you walk back 25 feet from it, there buried is the first soldier from New Jersey killed in the Revolutionary War, right behind this flagpole over here. So Lower Township does have, it's more than its share of history when it goes back, but it also has more than its share of sacrifice. And when we go to Thanksgiving, you know, I mean, it would be nice to remember this guy. I'd like to get a picture at some point. Like I've said, there's probably somewhere in this town a shoebox that contains maybe his medals, his letters home, maybe to his wife, who's buried right next to him. She died in 1969. So with the help of the papers, and you get a chance, you can look at it this week, but certainly I'll be remembering him as well as all of our veterans on Thanksgiving. It's a story that belongs to the town, and it's a story that needs to be read by a lot of people. I mean, you juxtapose that with some of the things that are going on in this world now. You know, people kneeling down before the flag or something like that. No, I'm not on that. I look at what this person sacrificed and what this town has sacrificed. So, like I said, happy Thanksgiving. If you wish to address council, feel free to come forward and take the microphone. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Robert Rizzo, Mickles Run. Thank you, Mayor, for that. That was
It's a town story.
It's a wonderful thing you said. As a former member of the Environmental Commission, I've heard all the praises so far about the roads, and I have looked at them almost every day. I do think that they're going to be good. They're not as wide as what we thought, the commission thought they were going to be. And hopefully, if the wind stays down through most of the winter, they'll be good for people using the beaches and a lot safer. So I do want to thank the folks back there, that one gentleman back there who oversaw the work. I think he did. I watched it being done almost every day. I do want to finally thank the township manager. The flag is up, and it's really blowing around at Douglas Park. It looks great. So I thank you for that, and I'm sure the people who visit the park and have seen it flying in the last few days are thankful that it's back up again. Hopefully, the wind won't blow it away again. Happy Thanksgiving to all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody else wish to address council? Yes, sir.
George Doherty, Seashore Road. I guess this is more addressed to Mr. Ridgway. I wanted to find out what's going on with the bike path. I see that Middle Township's got all the way up to Walmart now. On our end, where are we?
Well, we're down to the last two documents that need to be signed. Our engineer called me today and said our environmental permit we would receive in less than a week, but we still need a sign off from Atlantic Electric. And I can't tell you if that's going to be next week or it's going to be the following week, but we need a sign off on the timetable. And although they have come out and moved some wires, we've all have tried, and Ronnie Town from Atlantic Electric has been working diligently, but if you didn't know, Atlantic City was, it's a new corporation now. So the people at the top had to be explained by some of these other executives what was going on there, and we're ready to go, George.
It's just waiting on them now. That's
No, we're ready to go.
So we have the money and everything in place, probably
Well,
to get it done.
initially, we were going to start on the middle side, and then they said, why don't you start on our side? But right now, that has to be decided. We may be working on both. That'll be under the Mr. Douglas's determination. But the one thing that was important near the pantry there was to get the approval that there weren't any issues around. There's we'll call it a pond there, where you come to the end of the existing bike path. So they had to see the
Along the railroad, I know where that.
yes. So we're all good to go there. Basically, right now is a sign off and moving extension wires on 4 poles, and we could be in the ground. And I know Middle's okay to West Side Market there coming down.
It's already done up there.
You're correct, but there's still issues that.
People living in Cologne there. Yeah.
That's correct also.
We're clear with the people living right past Pantry 1, though, right? There's only 2 houses there, I guess, but
And,
there's no.
you know, we've met with the owner of Hawk Haven and showed him exactly what we're doing as we move down towards the end of there. I mean, I think we're close, George, and
Possibly next year we'll be in there.
I sure hope so.
I know there was one fatality, I think a bike fatality this summer on Route 9, I believe, but, this way, I'd like to get it done as soon, I think it's kind of.
So would I, because the other communities also would like to tie in.
Yeah, a lot of things can be done with that, 5K runs, I mean, if we finish that, to the ferry, to the zoo things, there's a lot of possibilities there, so I'd like to see it. And safety-wise, I think it's really important we get this, get this started. I see kids walking and riding up, Route 9 and Seashore Road, just now it's so dark, it's not safe anymore, so. All right, thanks.
You're welcome.
Anybody else wish to address council? Yes, sir.
Ray Flickinger, 1700 Washington Boulevard, North Cape May. It's just a repeat, but the great job Public Works is doing with I go by there, I'm the only house off there, and it's beautiful what they're doing. And for them guys, the dedication that they're working, they were out there today, the way that wind was still blowing 30, 40 miles an hour, I'd say today. So I know they had a rough day doing it, but it's certainly appreciated. And that flagpole down there in Douglas Park is also greatly appreciated, the gentleman said earlier. Thank you again.
You're welcome.
Anybody else wish to address council? Close the public portion.
Resolution number 2016-323, a resolution providing for a meeting not open to the public in accordance with the provisions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-12. This is to discuss contract negotiation updates, Teamsters, possible litigation, FEMA, and professional service contract discussion.
Okay, do I have a motion to go in closed session?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Perry?
Yes.
Councilmember Simonson?
Yes.
Mayor Beck?
Yeah.
Session at 8:07. Resolution number 2016-324, a resolution to ratify a 4-year contract agreement by and between the Township of Lower and Teamsters Local Union 676.
Okay, is there any council comments on this?
No.
Do we have to have a public session?
Yes.
I mean, theoretically, they
It
don't
does.
even know what the contract is.
You still have to open it up to public
We'll have to
comments.
open it
Yes.
up.
Just
We
in
open up
case.
the public comment, but you're not allowed to know what the contract is, so you really can't comment on it. All right, we close the public portion.
I make a
Motion to approve.
motion to approve.
Second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Perry?
Yes.
Councilmember Simonson?
Yes.
Mayor Beck?
Yes. Motion to adjourn?
Motion to go back to closed session?
Adjourn to closed session again, right?
Second.
Yes. Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Perry?
Yes.
Councilmember Simonson?
Yes.
Mayor Beck?
Yes. Good night.
Good night.